So there is this beautiful quote by Anthony de Mello that really stuck with me the first time I heard it, right? It really resonated and it really stuck with me the first time I heard it. And it says, what you are aware of, you are in control of. And what you are not aware of is in control of you, right? And see, most of us in this world are a slave to something, right? We have this crazy idea that just because we can go pretty much anywhere in the world we choose to, depending on where you live, or just because we have all this access to technology or our world has become increasingly modernized, right? That we are free. But that couldn't be further away from the truth because most of us are still a slave to something. We are a slave to our desires. We are a slave to our impulses. We are a slave to our habits. We are a slave to our negative beliefs. We are a slave to constant dopamine, right? Or we are a slave to the validation and the acceptance of other people, right? We are a slave to so many different things. And the worst part about this is that most of us are completely unaware of the things that truly control us. Most of us are completely oblivious to the things which control and run our lives, right? So we are as slaves and we don't even recognize that we are slaves, right? Most of us in this world are living life unconsciously. We are living life from a lack of awareness, right? And the very things which control us, the very things which inhibit us, they are literally creating, replicating, copying, and pasting our lives continuously, right? And then we wonder why we feel stagnant. We wonder why we feel stuck. We wonder why we continue to experience the same negative feelings and the same negative emotions over and over again, right? And then we blame the way our life is on external circumstances, on people, so on and so forth, without recognizing that the things which control us are creating the life that we don't even desire to live. The things which inhibit us are constantly creating our world, creating our life. They are running our lives and we don't even recognize it, right? We are so caught up in things outside of ourselves and we never truly take the time to sit with ourselves and ask ourselves the right questions, right? We never take the time to sit with ourselves and ask ourselves, why do I keep experiencing the same negative feelings over and over again? Why do I keep reacting the same way? Why do I keep holding on to these same habits? Why do I keep going back to these same people? Why do I feel the need to be chosen by these people? Why do I find it hard to do something productive? Why am I always chasing the next dopamine hit? Right? We never truly sit with ourselves and ask ourselves the right questions, and we are completely unaware of the very things that we are a slave to. Completely unaware. But if you want your life to change, you need awareness. And this is why awareness is such a powerful thing. You have to be able to look at yourself, look at your life, right? Look at the feelings and the emotions that you're continuously experiencing and ask yourself the right questions. Ask yourself why you keep experiencing the same negative feelings. Why do you keep holding on to the same habits, so on and so forth? You have to ask yourself the right questions if you desire your life to change, right? Nowadays, when I find myself, experiencing certain emotions over and over again, right? Or experiencing certain negative feelings over and over again. Or if I find myself in a place in which I keep experiencing the same situation and the same circumstances in my life, right? Through maybe, let's say, a different person, right? I sit with myself and I ask myself the hard questions. I ask myself why. Why do I keep experiencing these same emotions, these same feelings? Why do I keep running into the same conflicts when it comes on to my relationships? Why do I keep doing the same things, holding on to the same habits over and over again, right? I sit with myself and I ask myself those hard questions. And that has been one thing which has completely changed my life. That has been the one thing which has completely changed me as a person. It has made me heal a lot of things that I've been carrying. It has made me grow. It has allowed me to love myself. Because how can you heal what you are unaware of? How can you heal something when you're not even aware that, you're carrying it? How can you heal a scar that you're completely unaware is even there? And so many of the things which inhibit us, so many of the things which control us, we are absolutely unaware of them. And I think a big reason why we are so unaware of them is because we're so afraid to really ask ourselves the hard questions. We're so afraid to really sit with ourselves, right? Most of us in this world, we're constantly running away from ourselves. We find it easier to blame the way our life is on external circumstances, on other people, so on and so forth. Without recognizing that you're the one that is constantly creating your life with every step. You're always creating the life and the world that you're living in. And if you don't like the life that you're living, if you don't like, you know, the feelings that you're continuously experiencing, then you have to look within yourself. It is not beneficial to keep blaming external circumstances. It's not. It's not. A part of growth is facing the uncomfortable. A huge part of growth is facing the things which are uncomfortable to face. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us were running away from that. A lot of us don't want to do that, right? So many of us don't want to do that. But once you get in touch with the beliefs behind your beliefs, once you get in touch with the thoughts behind your thoughts, once you get in touch with the thoughts behind your habits, then that's when your life completely changed. Because you're no longer allowing an automatic mechanism to keep you stuck or to keep creating your life, you regain control of your life. And once you begin to regain control of your life, then you have the ability to choose the life that you want to live, right? See, most of us in this world, most of you guys watching this, the life that you're living isn't a choice. And when I say that the life that you're living isn't a choice, I don't mean that in the sense that, you don't have to take accountability for your life and change your life, right? When I say the life that you're living isn't a choice, what I mean is that if the things which control or inhibit us, if the things that we are a slave to or a remnant of the past, then how much of our present can truly be a choice, right? If the same beliefs, right? The same negative stories, right? The same habits, the same thoughts are a remnant of our past, then our present for the most part isn't a choice, right? Because the things which control us are just constantly creating this life that we're living without us even recognizing it, right? And to me, that's not what living a life that is a choice is. You can't be you can't live a life that is a choice if you're not aware of the things which are creating your life. You can't create a life that is a choice or choose a life that is a choice if the things which are creating your life you're unaware of, right? That's not what even living is to me. I think to truly live, you need awareness. You need awareness to truly live. You need to be aware of what you're choosing. You need to be aware of what you're holding on to. You need to be aware of the stories that you keep telling yourself. You need awareness to truly live. And until you begin to live your life with awareness, then you're not truly living. You're an autopilot. You are a slave. You're being controlled by things that you're completely unaware of, right? To truly live, you need awareness and intention. Awareness and intention. What is it that I'm choosing? What is it that I'm holding on to? Right? And once you figure out what you choosing without you even being aware of it, then you need intention. You need to then choose how you want to experience your life. You need to then choose the habits, the thoughts, the beliefs that you want to to you know to choose. And once you begin to choose the habits and the beliefs and the thoughts, then your life becomes a product of those things, and that is when you truly begin to live a life that is a choice. But most of us, like I said before, our lives are not truly a life that is a choice. Our lives are on autopilot. And to me, that's not truly living. It's not. I think it was Socrates that said the unaware life isn't worth living. And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of harsh. I feel like I feel like even if you're unaware, you still have the right to your life, if that even makes sense. But I think in a lot of ways, Once you are unaware, then how can your life truly be good? When you're unaware, your life is filled with suffering. Your life is constant suffering when you're unaware. And I guess you can say that a life that is filled with suffering isn't worth living. But then it's up to us to make, you know, the best of our suffering. It's on us to look at our suffering and realize just how much of our suffering is truly a choice, in the sense that we're not living with awareness and we're living unconsciously. And then we choose to step into awareness, and thus we begin to live a life that is joyful, a life that is pleasant, a life that is filled with love, a life that is peaceful, right? So even suffering to me is a guide. If you're constantly suffering, it means that you are unaware of the things that you're holding on to. You are unaware of the things that you're a slave to. So even suffering to me makes sense. Not because I'm advocating for suffering, but because suffering is a guide. And it's on us to use that suffering, get to the depths of the suffering that we're experiencing in our lives, and then become aware of the things which are perpetuating that suffering, and then choose different things, choose different beliefs, choose different thoughts, choose different stories. And by doing that, we can begin to live a life that is truly worth living. But I don't think we came into this world to constantly experience suffering. I don't think life is meant to be a life of suffering. Sure, you're going to have challenges and obstacles and things which you have to overcome. But to a large extent, suffering is a choice. And what I mean by that is, if we recognize that our experiences, right? If we recognize that our challenges in life all serve a purpose, then to a large extent, the challenges that we face, they begin to make a lot of sense, right? But if you're experiencing um, negative experiences over and over again, and you're in a place in which you're wondering, why is this happening to me? Why are these challenges and problems here? Am I just unlucky? So on and so forth. Then from the perspective that you're choosing to take, then you're going to constantly suffer, right? But when you begin to make the most of your challenges, in which you begin to see meaning in them, and you recognize that all things are working together for your good, and you begin to recognize that all things are leading you in the direction of growth, both the good experiences and the bad experiences, quote unquote bad experiences, right? Then to a large extent, you even begin to appreciate your own challenges. You begin to appreciate your own problems. You begin to even be grateful for some of the things that you've been through, because the only reason why you are the person you are today is because you went through those things, and they made you stronger. They made you more resilient. They made you more empathetic, because really and truly, empathy to a large extent depends on our ability to put ourselves in the shoes of other people. And a lot of our empathy comes from being in situations that we can sort of relate to, right? So a lot of our problems, a lot of the challenges that we go through in life, they should be credited for who we are today, right? You should be grateful for some of the things that you've been through, even though this sounds harsh, but they are the reason why you are the way you are today. And to say that your problems and the things that you go through, you know, are unworthy, or if you deem them to be unworthy and you judge them, then to a large extent, aren't you truly judging your present self? I think about it. Really think about it. If you're saying that the things that you went through are undeserving, and if you're judging the things that you've been through, to a large extent, you're judging your present self because those things are what carved you into who you are today. Those things have made you, to a large extent, who you are today. So just as how the present you is deserving of appreciation, then to a large extent, your problems are deserving of appreciation as well. You should be grateful for some of the things that you've been through, even though this sounds harsh. And I'm saying that from a person who has been through a lot in my life as well, right? And I look back at my past experiences, I look back at the things that I've been through, and sometimes I find myself being grateful for them because they have been things which have made me who I am today. I wouldn't be able to even be making these videos if I didn't have some of the experiences which I've had, right? They have been a necessity along my path and in my life and in me becoming who I am today. So why do I feel the need to hold resentment when it comes on to some of my previous problems in the past? Why do I feel the need to constantly judge them? Why do I feel the need to keep on telling myself that I shouldn't have went through that thing? I shouldn't have went through that circumstance. No, no. I am who I am today because I went through those things. The reason why I'm able to empathize with another person who's lost someone they loved is because I've also lost someone they loved. The reason why I'm able to empathize with a person who finds it hard to love and accept themselves, right, is because I found it hard to love and accept myself at one point in my life. The reason why I find it easy, you know, to empathize with a person who has been through a hardship in their life is because I've also been through hardships in my life. The things that I've been through have made me into a better person. They have made me who I am today. And so I can't curse any of my experiences. I can't curse any of them. And it is on me to see good in all of them. I remember I made a video probably a year ago, and I said that your problems are also a part of God's plan. Because God's plan is for you to become the best version of yourself. God's plan is for you to become more loving. God's plan is for you to become more empathetic. God's plan is for you to become more compassionate. And how can you become those things if you never truly if you never truly experience the bad that life has to offer? How can you step into those things? Only a person who has experienced hardship can empathize with hardship. Only a person who has felt a lack of love in their life can empathize with a person who has felt a lack of love, right? Only a person who has experienced poverty can truly empathize with a person who has experienced poverty, right? And that is why we are all connected, because no experience that you've had is ever foreign in this world. Whatever that whatever it is that you've been through in your life, someone else has been through those things, or someone else is currently going through those things. And the only reason you can reach out and offer an arm of support to that person, the only reason why you can truly and deeply empathize with that person is because you've also been through those things. The person who has experienced loneliness can empathize with the person who has experienced loneliness. The person who has experienced a lack of self love is able to empathize with the person who has experienced a lack of self love, right? The reason why we are able to be empathetic and we're able to put ourselves in another person's shoes is because, in one form or another, we've all experienced some hardship in our past. And good people aren't made from good experiences. The best people are made from some of the worst experiences, right? But people who are truly good can truly find the best and make the best from even their worst experiences. That's what it means to truly be good to me. It means you find meaning in even some of the worst experiences in your life, right? You see good in even some of the worst experiences in your life. And not only that, you understand the pain of those experiences. And because you understand the pain, then you can understand and empathize with someone else, right? So yeah, damn flies and shit. Yeah, um, I even forgot what this video was about because I went on a tangent that was probably it had very little to do with this video, um, in a lot of ways. But yeah, if you truly want your life to change, then you need to step into awareness. Because if you are unaware of the things which control you, if you're unaware, excuse me, if you're unaware of the things which control your life and the things which you are a slave to, then how can you ever truly change them? How can you ever truly choose the life that you want to experience and choose a life that is a life that is a choice? You can't. As long as you're unaware, as long as you are a slave to the things that you're unaware of, then your life is going to be an autopilot. And you're constantly going to keep creating a life that you don't even desire to live. And you're going to keep perpetuating the same negative feelings, the same um, circumstances and situations. And in your life is only going to continue to feel stagnant, and you know you're going to continue to suffer. So awareness is truly the key to your liberation. And the moment you step into awareness and you step into freedom, but as long as you are unaware and you continue to live an unaware life, then you are a slave. And I'm pretty sure nobody truly wants to go through life being a slave, especially to things which are internal. Because it's one thing to be a slave externally, Someone might have more physical strength than you. But the worst thing to me is being a slave internally, right? Like Anton de Mello also has this beautiful quote in which he says, "A man can be in prison and be free, and a man can not be in prison and still be imprisoned." And I think that sums it up perfectly. The worst type of slavery is the one that you're completely unaware of. And the worst type of slave is the person who's completely unaware that he's a slave to his negative thoughts, a slave to his impulses, a slave to his habits, a slave to dopamine, right? A slave to the validation and opinions of other people. The worst type of slave is the person who is unaware that he's even a slave.